we would take a stronger position that it is physically not impure, but it is spiritually impure. A person who takes it and destroys their religion, they're going against the commandment of God. The other point is when we consider the different types of alcohol. Because again, from a chemical point of view, alcohol is anything which has the OH molecule connected to it. But, there are other types of alcohols which you take them, they're not going to intoxicate you. They'll kill you, or they'll blind you, or, a variety of other things. But they're not going to intoxicate you. Such would, though they're classified chemically, according to chemistry, as alcohols, we don't really look at them from the Islamic perspective law as alcohol. When we're looking at our substances which will intoxicate. So where this exists, then it is not permissible to take it, to drink it, to use it in that sense. But where it is not a condition, this is some other kind of alcohol, then you don't have to worry about it at all. And that, of course, becomes an issue for people who may be using it in other ways other than drinking. Now, I have another question which has come in from Dubai. Another is asking here, Dr. Bilal, Assalamu alaikum. We have a problem concerning the use of vinegar, because Prophet Muhammad, may God peace and blessings be upon him, had indicated that we should use it, and there are some statements which indicate that he liked it. What is the Islamic view reconciling these two different positions? Assalamu alaikum. Okay, the point here, we have a statement in Sahih Muslim from Jabir, in which he quoted the Prophet ﷺ as praising vinegar as an excellent condiment. And then Jabir himself said, I have always loved vinegar after I heard that from the Prophet ﷺ. Now, this is a very strong piece of evidence for the continued legality of vinegar. Because, of course, there are other statements. Now, the question is, are these other statements abrogating, canceling the initial preference and love the Prophet ﷺ had and praise he had for vinegar? With Jabir saying that, because he's narrating this sometime after the Prophet ﷺ's death, he's indicating that the use of it was not abrogated. Now, the other statement that we have was the hadith in which Prophet ﷺ was asked about using wine to make vinegar, and he prohibited it. That, could we buy wine and use it to make vinegar? And he prohibited it. From that, some people concluded that, okay, we can't make vinegar, because to do so, it must go through the process of becoming wine. However, other scholars have pointed out, no, this is not the case. One can start with the grape juice, and one covers it. One knows the period of time it takes for it to turn into vinegar, and you don't open up the container that in which it's being processed until the process is complete. Others have pointed out that, well, okay, we may not be able to produce it ourselves, but we can buy it from others. Non-Muslims who may be making it. It's not forbidden for them. We may purchase the vinegar from them, regardless of the source that they use to make it. So the point is that Jabir's statement strongly indicates that it is still permissible, and there are other routes to avoid making vinegar from alcohol, meaning you don't purchase alcohol for the purpose of making vinegar, because once you get involved in that, you're opening the door to corruption. People buying alcohol, it's tempted to want to taste it. You know, that temptation is there. So we can say that it's definitely prohibited for one to purchase, alcoholic substances for the purpose of making vinegar. And if one were to do so, one would need to, do so in such a way that the alcohol is not accessible. It goes straight from the, from the juice or substances, through a process which is not, in which the alcohol is a phase it passes through, but not an accessible phase. We have a question here from Ajman, in which the writer asks, Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Bilal. Could you please answer this question for me concerning restaurants where pork is prepared? Can we go to a restaurant where there is pork prepared and eat the non-vegetarian food? Well, the point is that what is prohibited to us is pork. We're not allowed to eat it. But where one is eating vegetarian food, which is non-meat products, then these would be halal. Of course, if information comes to us that in the back, in the kitchens, they're just mixing it all together, and they're calling you one this and one that, then of course you avoid such places. But for those, places, especially it's known where the vegetarian, the non-vegetarian, a question was asking about non-vegetarian foods. Right, I guess the question is sure about the vegetarian foods that they would be okay, and they would be unless we had evidence to the contrary. But now non-vegetarian foods there, that means other meats, which may be halal, or described, or the form you may be informed that this we have halal chicken, we have halal beef, but we also serve pork here. Can you eat? Well, one would need to know whether the serving and the preparation of pork is separate from that of the other meats, or whether there is the possibility of intermingling. Where that possibility exists, then such restaurants should be avoided. In fact, really, as long as we have a choice of other places to eat, we have our own homes, where we don't have any doubt about what we're eating, and it's better to eat where you're certain, As Prsenter had said, leave those things which bring you doubt for the things which you are sure about. That's a general principle in the religion. Whoever leaves the doubtful has protected his religion and his honor. The well-known hadith, Prsenter said, al-halalu bayn wal-haramu bayn, that halal is clear and haram is clear, and between them are doubtful areas. Whoever avoids these doubtful areas has protected his religion and his honor. It's a general principle. So, dear viewers, when we find ourselves in such situations, we try to find other options, avoid what gives us doubt. But if we don't have any other options, we're traveling, whatever, can we eat the vegetarian foods? Yes, we can. Non-vegetarian foods, if we have some idea that these things are not mixed together, and then we can eat of those foods. If we have doubts, so maybe they're dealing with people who are not themselves Muslims, who don't have any concern or any care about whether their foods are mixed or not, then it's better to avoid vegetarian and that. With that, dear viewers, I'd like to thank you for being with us in another segment of our program. We hope that you would write in to us at P.O. Box 111, Sharjah, UAE, in the Light of Islam. To me, Dr. Bilal Phillips, and we'll try to answer your questions for you. Otherwise, you may call in questions to our office in Dubai, the Discover Islam office, 396-2190. Or you may fax into my office in Sharjah, Dar al-Fatah Press, the fax there being 06, then 5323724. And with that, viewers, we'd like to thank you for being with us. Hoping to see you in the coming programs. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.